Minix here with Timmins Group. I'm here with Mark Harmon today. Really exciting conversation about Cityworks and these fantastic Tyler Munis integrations that we've been doing for some really fantastic clients. Couldn't be more proud to be working on these systems and integrating them. So I'm Lillian. Like I said, I'm a marketing manager here at Timmins Group, and we do these live discussions every once in a while to kind of kick off a really unique project or process, or kind of explain a service that we want folks to know about. So bringing in an expert, Mark Harmon, to chat with me today. He is a senior solutions architect with our asset management group here in the Richmond office. He's got a pretty unique background and a really, really cool role, I think, here at the firm. So Mark, without further ado, do you want to introduce yourself, give us a little bit of a background on your in your experience in asset management?
Sure. Yeah. So again, my name is Mark Harmon. So I joined Timmins Group back in 2003 after graduating from James Madison University. So I actually interned with Timmins and then got hired on after I graduated. And I started in the GIS division because I did geography at school, and so I spent a lot of time making maps, digitizing roadways and parcels. Then I got into utilities, and that kind of translated into asset management. So our utilities mapping group kind of eventually migrated to a asset management group where we started implementing Cityworks. So I've been doing that since about 2006.
Wow. Okay. So for the folks that might be tuning in for us, what them might not know, what is asset management? When you talk about asset management in GIS technology, geospatial technology, what does that mean?
So most of our work is focused working with public utilities and local government to help them manage the physical assets that they keep track of. So that's anything from roadways, water mains, sewer lines, parks, buildings, anything that the city owns. That's usually stuff that we help them with a system called Cityworks that helps them track the work orders, requests coming in from the public, and the costs to maintain those assets.
Yeah. I love how you explain that because it just is so streamlined. It's like you've never said it before. Like you've never had to explain what asset management is. That's really cool. So you've been with this particular team. I mean, obviously your team is growing, has been for quite some time. What are some of your favorite parts and working with the team here at Timmins?
I think the thing I love the most about it is that we're all kind of on the same page in that we want to help our clients. We want to see, the cities that we work with, the towns, counties, we want to see them improve their processes and help them better serve the citizens. So I think if we can produce a solution for them that helps them, look better in front of their constituents, that's awesome.
Yeah, and when you build that relationship with your team, you're also building a relationship with your clients too, and that's just a really hearty part of your role in asset management.
Yeah.
You have some really cool clients that you work with. What are some of your favorite parts? Adjacently, I just asked the question about what are some of your favorite parts working with your team? What are some of the favorite parts of working with the clients that you work with?
Partly it's the kind of working with people all over the country. So we work from, Pacific Northwest down to, cross country all the way down to Florida. So we get to work with a variety of people, and I think a lot of the clients we work with are very smart. They kind of, we join them and become like one big team where we're really working together to, come up with this bigger solution that's helping the city.
Yeah, always big picture thinking. That's the way to do it. I feel like that's just part of GIS technology, right? It's
Yeah,
big
yeah.
picture thinking. Really cool. So how does that relationship kind of translate to, your integrations and what those mean for the people that you're benefiting in these municipalities?
Yeah, so I guess as my role as solutions architect now is I spend most of my time, working with these Cityworks implementations, trying to figure out how to integrate those with other third-party systems. So, when we go into an implementation, our client usually always has these other systems that track certain data like employee information, contractors, vendors, materials, various types of data that Cityworks is interested in using for tracking work orders, inspections, things like that. So I look at that as saying, hey, instead of basically duplicating this data, having somebody have to maintain it in two different systems, let's connect those two systems together and let Cityworks pull some of that data from an existing location or existing system.
Right. And one of those particular integrations that you're talking about is the Tyler Munis integration with Cityworks. And you've recently implemented that with the city of Auburn, Alabama, right?
Yeah, so the Auburn, Alabama, I think that one's been a couple years ago, and since then we've had a couple other Munis integrations. We're currently working with Minot, North Dakota, kind of designing and implementing their Munis integration right now.
That's fantastic. What does that workflow look like for you as the architect?
So it really kind of varies from client to client, but the overall idea is that during implementation, we're trying to determine what's the system of record for these different pieces of master data that Cityworks is interested in. Again, when I say master data, that's stuff like the employees, the contractors, the materials, that kind of stuff. So as we determine what those systems of record are, that's when we start kind of digging into say, okay, it's Munis. All right, are there tools that Munis or another ERP that you may have, are there tools available to extract that data and pull it into Cityworks? And for Auburn, it was, they had access to the Munis API, which at that time was kind of new, in that Munis used to only allow their API to be used by their own internal processes. So our Munis to Cityworks integration there was, I think, the first occurrence that there was a Cityworks Munis integration that used the Munis API, which was pretty awesome because before it was just moving flat files around and trying to push data kind of a more old school way. So this using the API made it a lot more sustainable. So every time they did an upgrade, they weren't worried about the integration breaking.
The Timmins Group Asset Management Team, ladies and gentlemen, trendsetters. That's fantastic. That's a really unique background with that project. I actually didn't know that. I've had the opportunity to write about the Auburn Tyler Munis integration project, actually with one of our other cohorts and a previous guest on the live stream with Timmins Group, Michael Edwards, but didn't realize that. So that's a really neat piece of the project. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll ask you just a few more questions. I know we're kind of nearing the end of our time. What are some of the things that you really look for when you're trying to conduct a successful integration?
So the thing I always try to remind our clients is that this isn't one-sided. It's kind of, there's multiple systems at play, at least two of them. So we say, make sure you're including everyone that's involved. So don't forget to include your ERP vendor because they have a lot of expertise and from their side that can help. They may actually be part of the integration design and build process. They might have to build a portion of the integration themselves. And they can be there to help support testing and, in some of the build out of that integration. Probably one of the other things we recommend is double checking your licensing. So one of the first steps, you want to make sure that you have Cityworks API licensing, you have the API licensing for your ERP. If you don't, you might have to go out and purchase additional licensing before you can proceed with that integration process. Another part is, try not to get hung up on having everything be API based. That is great if you can do it, but sometimes that technology is just not available, and you might have to do a mix of, flat files, APIs, database triggers to get the job done. So don't kind of get stuck on having, it be one thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do what you got to do to get it done.
I like flexibility and a little bit of open-mindedness going into the project management. I like that. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Mark, any other unique projects that we can be on the lookout for in the horizon?
It's not ERP, but I think one of the ones that I'm proud of recently is I've been working with Edmond, Oklahoma, on a CIS, or a customer information system integration that we'll probably be having another live discussion sometime soon about that, and the integration between Cityworks and that system.
That's great. I will absolutely keep an ear out for it. Shoot me an email. We'll get something scheduled.
Yeah.
Give the people on LinkedIn what they want. They want to see the live discussions. I think they enjoy them. So, well, Mark, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to have the opportunity to speak about?
I think I was just going to mention that if you want to know more, see more about the Munis Auburn integration, we do have a YouTube video up from one of our previous webinars that goes into a bit more detail. They actually do, Auburn is on there, and they do a live demo showing how that integration actually works. So that's a good thing to check out. And then feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about integrating Cityworks with any of your other software platforms.
Very cool. And I'll absolutely include a link to that YouTube video in the description for this video. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for joining us today, and stay tuned. We'll have other live discussions in the future.
Thanks.